Persuasion is the act of influencing or convincing others to adopt a certain belief, attitude, or behavior for a specific thing. You want to try and convince the audience to accept or reject a particular point of view or take action. You are aiming to change the way the audience thinks or the way that they are viewing something. It is different from informative speech because informative speeches are just trying to educate the audience on the topic without trying to change their beliefs. Social judgment is where people judge persuasive messages based on their existing attitudes and beliefs. They are comparing to their current viewpoint, and it determines how they will react. Persuasion occurs when a message shifts in an individual's position from rejection to acceptance or moves them towards the latitude of a non-commitment. Cognitive dissonance theory is based on an idea that people experience discomfort when they hold conflicting beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors. They are motivated to reduce the inconsistency by changing their attitudes or behaviors. Elaboration likelihood model is how people are persuaded through two different models. Central root is where it involves deep processing, where the individuals carefully consider the message content and arguments. The peripheral root is where the individuals focus on external cues rather than the messages itself. 4 types of persuasions. Claims would be the fact that claim, which is where you're arguing whether something is true or false. Value claims are where someone is arguing whether something is good or bad. Policy claims is where someone is advocating for the specific course of action or change. Cause and effect claim is where someone argues that one thing causes another. The fact claim leads to speeches that have present evidence to prove whether something is true or false. Value claims lead to speeches that argue if something is worth an idea. Policy claims lead to speeches advocating for specific actions or solutions. Cause and effect claims lead to speeches showing how one event or factor leads to another. One policy claim is a passive policy claim which focuses on proposed solutions that requires the audience to change their behavior or attitudes without direct action. Another policy claim is an active policy claim, which focuses on advocating for specific actions or policies to be taken, such as legislation or other messages. 3 common organizational patterns for persuasive speeches are problem-solution pattern, Monroe's motivated sequence patterns, and comparative advantage patterns. The steps in Monroe's motivated sequences are first grabbing the audience's attention, then establishing the significant problems that are needed to be addressed, present the solution, and plan to address the problem, help the audience visualize the positive outcomes, and finally to call the audience to action. The parts of problem, cause, solution speech is for you to identify and explain the problems. Next is the speaker needs to discuss the root cause of the problem. The last one is hoping the speaker proposes a solution to the problem. The process in a comparative advantage persuasive speech is that the speaker needs to introduce the different options or solutions that are being considered. Next, they need to highlight the disadvantages of each of the alternatives. The last thing that the speaker will need to do is to highlight the strengths of the preferred options and explain to the audience why it is the best option for them. Thank you.